Fire Sword, Chapter 10. The Field of Flowers. "Wow!" Yui exclaimed excitedly. "They're so pretty!" She was talking about the field of flowers that the shepherds were walking through, delighted by the vibrant colors that each individual flower showed. Her delighted face, more than the flowers, brought smiles to those near her. I always enjoyed coming here as a child," Sayuri said. The princess of Chunsin, one of the three main countries that made up the continent, stepped up to walk closer to the Kirigaya family and Shino. The sniper, Archer, edged away from Sayuri slightly, still uncomfortable with people outside of her party from ALO. And even then, she only really felt comfortable around Kazuto. Unaffected by the cold shoulder she had received, the princess continued, "But the greatest beauty in all the land, at least in mine opinion, are the cherry blossoms that bloom for only a paltry amount of time every year. They are a magnificent sight to behold, and words that describe them do not do it justice." "Sounds like we'll have to pay it a visit someday." Kazuto smiled easily. "Sound like a good vacation idea, Asuna?" "Yeah," the chestnut-haired young woman said with a bright smile. "I'd love to go there someday. Maybe we could find a place to fish again, huh?" Kazuto deadpanned her for a second before he turned back to Sayuri and said, "By any chance, if there is any water near these trees, does it have a giant monster in it?" "Many places in Chunsin are supposedly haunted by ghosts or gods," the princess replied. "You'd be hard-pressed to find any place that isn't surrounded by legend and lore in Chunsin, or all of Valm for that matter. Take, for example, this field of flowers. Many believe it to be the resting place of Lady Luck when she deigns to visit the human realm." "Right," Kazuto muttered, suddenly having second thoughts about going fishing by the cherry blossoms. "What's the scariest place you've ever been to, Lady Sayuri?" Yui asked sweetly. Sayuri forced herself to smile as she replied, "Perhaps the most terrifying of places in Valm is the Demon's Ingle. It is said the volcano is the dwelling place of a wicked fire god, whose temper flares whenever anyone treads too closely to the mountain." "Did you have a bad experience there as a little girl?" Yui pressed. After a moment, Sayuri nodded and said, "Aye. You're very perceptive, little Yui." "She's our pride and joy," Asuna beamed. It was amazing, Kazuto thought, how Yui brought out this brighter side of his wife. Most of the time, she was a fierce, determined young lady, but whenever she was with Yui, she almost never stopped smiling and doting. "But, Yui, you shouldn't be trying to ask personal questions like that," Kazuto admonished gently. "You might end up making them mad, even when you're trying to help them. I know you mean well, but you have to learn these kind of things." Far from being hurt by the rebuke, though, Yui simply appeared thoughtful as she nodded and said, "Yes, Daddy. I'm sorry, Sayuri." "'Tis quite all right, little one," the princess said with a slight bow. "You are blessed with a great amount of intelligence. Do see that it does not go to waste." "Aye, aye, ma'am." Yui giggled with a mock salute. "Thanks, Olivia," Kazuto said as he accepted a cup of water from the pink-haired dancer. "I'm too beat to even think about doing stuff like this." "Oh," the dancer exclaimed timidly. "Well, it's no trouble, really. I mean, I can barely fight. You're always out there protecting people like me. I can't really do much besides pretend to dance, and I figured that this is the least I can do for you and the others." "Pretend to dance?" Kazuto almost laughed, as did Asuna. "Olivia, if I was half as good at my footwork and flexibility as you are, I'd be able to beat the Valmese single-handed with my rapier." Asuna giggled. "You're an amazing dancer. I love watching you dance, even when there's no music." "Stop!" Olivia squeaked, flushing deep red with embarrassment. "There's no need to lie in my face." "But Mommy is right, Miss Olivia," Yui added. "I never lie, and I think you're amazing. Maybe someday I can learn to dance like you." The thought froze both Kazuto and Asuna in their tracks. Olivia was a very talented dancer, but her uniform was, to say the least, immodest. And the dances she performed could be a bit sensual. She was not an illicit performer, but she was an attractive young woman, and even with her marriage to Henry, one of the scariest spellcasters to ever live, she was still known for accidentally turning heads with her naive beauty and attire. It was not something that either of the parents wanted Yui to get into, even though the dances did have their place in time. "That might not be a good idea, Yui," Asuna said carefully. "You need to focus on your stave skills more than anything." "Aww." Yui pouted in a very similar manner to Asuna, almost causing Kazuto to laugh out loud. "But my studies have been coming along really well. Lady Lisa says that I'm almost ready to learn how to use a special staff to protect other people from magical attacks. Can't I learn how to dance in my spare time?" Kazuto and Asuna both looked at Olivia, ironically enough, with expressions that said, "Help us out of this!" The dancer blushed even harder under their gazes, their parents concerned, and Yui hopeful. She stuttered, maybe I can teach you some of the dances I learned as a child? They're not like the ones I do now." Kazuto and Asuna shared a look before nodding in resignation. "Okay, Asuna said. As long as Olivia is okay with it, isn't busy, and you keep up with your studies, your daddy and I will let you learn how to dance with her. Thank you, Mommy. Yui squealed, giving her a big hug, once again making everyone smile, even Olivia. When she noticed this, Yui turned and said, Hey, you have a really pretty smile, Miss Olivia. You should smile more. Oh, Olivia exclaimed, turning red again. Thank you, Yui. You're a very sweet girl. I'm sure your parents are proud of you. We are, Kazuto said as he patted his daughter's head affectionately. We're so very proud of our little Yui. The girl nuzzled his hand in return, still relishing the new sensation of feeling her father's real hand with all the infinite details that the virtual world can never hope to recreate. Unfortunately, the moment didn't last very long. Kirito! Asuna! Riken panted as he ran up to the four of them, panting heavily. Lord Crumb and Master Robin want you and Yui to come along for a mission. A gang has invaded a local village. Only 2 men are standing up to them so far. They need help, fast! We're on it, Kazuto said, putting on his black jacket and grabbing his swords by their scabbards. Strapping them on as he ran, he felt Kirito the Black Swordsman rise up once again, ready for another fight to the death. Beside him, Kirito's wife, the Lightning Flash, drew her rapier and ran just fast enough to stay beside him and not run ahead as she so easily could. To complete the picture, their daughter, the once exiled princess of Aincrad, Yui Kirigaya, was running behind them with her staff in hand, white dress fluttering in the breeze. Watching them go, Riken felt a slight sting of inferiority. Why is it that whenever danger comes up, they get the first call to action, he complained. And it looks so damn cool when they do it, too. I wouldn't know, Olivia stammered, but maybe we should go too, just to see if we can help somehow. Not that I'll be any good at it. Well, at least you can keep Henry from casting crazy blood spells on everything in sight, Riken said with a slight shudder. That helps me sleep at night, if it's any consolation to you, Olivia. Man, how did I let you talk me into this? A reddish-brown-haired man complained. I never thought picking up chicks would be this much work. His silver-haired companion replied as he deflected a sword thrust. He moved his sword with a confusing twirl before slicing his opponent's midsection and ridding the world of another thug. My friend, the only thing you need are a confident stride and a smile. Everything else is simply a helpful bonus. He moved with the grace of a tiger to engage another enemy that came barreling down the streets. The first man stayed a little more stationary in his swordplay, his curved katana moving in simpler maneuvers than his allies' almost dance-like swordplay. Still, both of them were incredibly effective in their defense, but it wouldn't be long before they were to be overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Fortunately, a certain group from Elise showed up before that could happen. Led by Crom, the shepherds took to the streets, seeing the villagers to safety and attacking criminals on sight. Robin and Riken got both their best bow users on the rooftops by throwing them up with Elwyn spells. Sinon and Varayan both took up spaces on the corners of buildings that overlooked the town square, and began sniping at any brigand that came within the range of their arrows. Sinon was the better shot, but there wasn't a whole lot in it. Both archers hit their marks without fail. Kirito and Asuna headed straight for the place where the two of the mysterious defenders had last been spotted. Their mission was specifically to find and assist the town's would-be heroes if they could. They found them not too far away from where Sumiya first saw them, and the couple was surprised, then pleased to realize they recognized one of the two fighters. Although he lacked the ugly bandana that was part of his avatar, both would have recognized that messy tangle of red hair and a scraggly attempt at a beard anywhere. Klein! Kirito shouted as he and his wife joined the fray. Kirito? Klein shouted in surprise, nearly missing a counterstroke. Is that really you? In the flesh! The Black Swordsman said as he finally came to stand beside his oldest friend from Minecraft. This is just like old times, huh? You mean like when we were surrounded by the Holy Dragon Alliance? Something like that? Dude, you owe me a drink and an explanation when this fight is over. Klein grunted as he shoved back a burly swordsman. Because this whole thing is starting to wear me out. Done. Kirito nodded as he parried with his dark repulsor and stabbed with the elucidator. By the way, who's your friend over there? The name's Inigo, friend. The young man laughed as he twirled and slashed his opponent. Something about the movement seemed familiar to Kirito, but he couldn't quite place it. And what a lovely lass you have fighting beside you. Perhaps she might like to join me for a cup of tea afterward. Asuna flashed him a bright smile and said, You know, I might consider it. Then she grabbed him by the collar and threw him into one of the last bandits, sending them both sprawling. She then activated her Astra skill and stabbed the bandit multiple times, 2 of which happened to land close to Inigo's body, the last one next to his head. But I rather think my husband over there might object to me going to enjoy refreshments without him. Involuntarily, Inigo's gaze happened to flick over to see Kirito just in time to waste 3 swordsmen in 5 moves. The sight sent chills down his spine as he realized he had just tried to hit on the wrong girl. With a smile more frosty than charming this time, Asuna offered Inigo a hand up, which he took hesitantly. Now, if you'd still like to buy tea for me, you better have enough on your purse for my husband and daughter, too. Finally finding his voice, Inigo flashed a more nervous smile and replied, "A tempting thought, my lady, but as of late my purse has been rather light, and I do not have the finances to provide for another 2 guests. Perhaps another time? If you can grow the balls to talk to me again outside of battle, I might show you a few pointers on how to get a girl's attention." Asuna grinned, her natural smile showing through. "Sound like a good deal, pretty boy?" "Yes, ma'am," he replied, not sure if this was another trap or not. "Good," Asuna replied. "Now let's finish clearing these bandits. Then we'll see about that cup of tea." Once the battle was over, Lucina and Owain were reunited with their old friend, who brought more than one smile to the faces of the shepherds. He then revealed himself to be the son of Henry and Olivia, which finally ceased the nagging in Kazuto's head that had been present ever since he realized he had seen some of those moves before. As for Klein, he was glad to see that Shino was safe, as well as the Kirigayas. "So you two finally made it official, huh?" he said as he grinned at their 2 rings on the couple's hand, causing them both to flush with embarrassment. "Well, congrats, you two. I only wish I could have seen it myself." "Sorry, Klein," Kazuto shrugged, "but we didn't want to wait any longer, not with this war against the Valm country going on." "Yeah, well, you two are lucky to have each other," Klein sighed. "I met that Inigo guy a few days back, and since we were both new to this place, we figured we'd try to find our way around together. He told me he could help me find my soulmate, but that guy just chases anything with a pulse. Why I listen to him, I'll never figure it out." "It wouldn't be the first dumb thing you've done," Kazuto chuckled. "Remember when you and Liz were both drunk? Asa and I had to pull you 2 idiots apart before the whole thing became a rated M scenario." "Yeah, well, no need to bring up past mistakes," Klein said hastily. "Why don't we look to the future? Like, what are we going to do while Kirito tries to figure out how to get us home?" "Well, the current plan is to help out the shepherds as long as we can while they fight the Valmese. Maybe even when they go up against this cult trying to resurrect this demon dragon monster. Who knows? Maybe you'll even find your soulmate in the shepherds." "You think so, man?" Klein asked eagerly. "No, not really." Kazuto grinned maliciously. "I mean, if the plan is to go home eventually, what's the point?" Klein had a stricken look on his face right before he collapsed on his hands and knees, sobbing. "Kirito!" Asuna said. "That was mean! The guy totally asked for it," Kazuto snorted. "Besides, I've been waiting for a chance like this to get back at him for hitting on Liz."